Hello everybody, my name is Kazu, nice to meet you. This is part of my 365-day daily challenge, speaking English for 30 minutes straight using TOEFL style questions, no script, just spontaneous answers, just like the real exam. Let's get started. Today is day 192. Yeah, I am really tired because I worked hard. Anyway, I went to a park to do pull-up. Let's review. I went to a park to do pull-ups. Pull-ups is a noun, so you can't use it as a verb. I went to a park to do pull-ups. I went to a park to do pull-ups, but it had been yeah. I went to a park to do pull-ups last Sunday morning, but it had been because every Sunday is a rest day for me, so I don't usual workout in running. Instead, I just take a walk to a park nearby and do pull-ups because there is some equipment to do pull-ups. So yeah, I always actually before I made running a habit. I always had been taken a walk to wait. Let me explain from the beginning. Not from the beginning. From the before I made running a habit. So before I made running a habit, I used to take a walk to a park nearby to do pull-ups always. So at that time, I was able to do them over 10 times. And I always did 2 sets. Each time I was able to do them over 10 times. But right now, last Sunday, yeah, I went there to the pull-ups and I was able to just only like 7 times for the first set. And at the second set, I was barely able to do them only just 5 times. So I was sad because maybe my muscle became weaker. Muscle were getting weaker. I could barely do 7, but this time, yes. Yeah, so I went I went there to do pull-ups, but it had been a long time since I had done pull-ups. I had last done them. But this time, I'd barely do 7. So maybe my back muscles were getting weaker. The first set was only 7 reps. Reps, not times, reps. Yeah, I can use times as well. And the second was 5. The second was just only 5. So I've been slacking off. Recently, I've been slacking off on pull-ups because I've gotten into running. I've gotten into running. I should do them more often, maybe. He was far more hardcore than I was. Okay. So yesterday, after I talked about pull-ups, maybe I talked about hitchhiking. So I had experience to hitchhike in the US before. So because I was not facilitated, I was inspired by a famous YouTuber, Japanese YouTuber. He did hitchhike and he crossed the US from the west to the east. Only he used hitchhiking. So he was far more hardcore. He was far more hardcore than I was, because I had, I hitchhiked only for short distances, like within the state. だっけ? I only hitchhiked for short distances. It was only within one state. It was only within one state. From Utah to Wyoming. Yeah, the middle of Wyoming. From Salt Lake City to the middle of Wyoming. Yeah, that's as long as I could remember. I can remember right now. So, but he was from. It was exciting. It was exciting, but it was also thrilling, because I had to stand there holding a sign and that said east or something like that. Then some kind of driver, or all of them I met were kind, but it it could have been it could have been dangerous if the driver picked me up. Who picked me up was stranger or crazy. I had stand there holding a sign that said east or something. Yeah, if the driver who picked me up had been dangerous. If the driver who picked me up had been dangerous, I could have been killed. So今考えると if I think about it right now, I was stupid. But I don't regret, because it was a very precious experience that because first I started hitchhiking in California. Actually, it was LA, but no one stopped for me. Not a single car. So I actually gave up at the time, and then I used Greyhound to travel. Then I went to San Francisco, in Portland, and then I went to Seattle. But when I arrived at Seattle, my money ran out, so I had to make money. So I looked for the place I could work, and I found a sushi restaurant on the electronic bulletin board on internet. That was a Japanese sushi restaurant, and wait a minute. The voice input system, ChatGPT's voice input system stopped. So yeah, let's wait. Maybe it is transcribing what I said. Okay. Yeah, sushi restaurant. That was good sushi restaurant. Anyway, so I had the money in Seattle. So I looked for the place to work on the electronic bulletin boards on the internet, and I found it. There was the sushi restaurant, and the shop owner was a woman. She was very kind. She let me work, and even she introduced another Japanese restaurant for me to work. Then I made some money, and and that Japanese restaurant's owner was also a woman. And again, she introduced another Japanese person who uh, was looking for a worker. So uh, the Japanese person, he hired me as a part-time worker, and I cleaned up. That was a cleaning company, and I cleaned up uh, uh, Japanese company's office in Seattle. Actually, at that time, maybe the Japanese company already moved out to another office, so the office was empty. So that's why we had to clean up the room. Anyway, I did. It was hard, but I did, and he uh, gave me some money because I worked. So, and he was very kind and generous. He also let me stay his house. Actually, he got married, so his wife was there, but he was a little bit old, like 50, from 50 to 60, but he was very kind. Like he and her were like the same age of my parents, but they are a little bit younger than my parents. Anyway, so uh, so I stayed like 1 week in Seattle, and I was able to earn some money. But based on my calculation, it was a little bit shorthand to go to New York by Greyhound. Yeah, actually, my brother, not my brother, uh, my father was planning to go to New York for work, so I planned to arrive at New York at the same date. So yeah, I get back to the budget. So the budget was not enough to go to New York by Greyhound. I wanted to go to Chicago before New York. So and then I calculated the budget, but it was a little bit なんだっけ little bit luck, a little bit shorthand, shortage. I forgot the adjective, but yeah, it was not enough. So then I decided to hitchhike again. Actually, I was not hungry, so half of myself, I thought it would be impossible, but the half of myself, I believed that it was possible. So yeah, at least I wanted to try hitchhiking again. So from Seattle to Salt Lake City, I went to Salt Lake City by Greyhound, actually. But from Salt Lake City, I decided to do hitchhike. So yeah, that's the background. Anyway, I eventually made it to hitchhike. Maybe like Mormons. There are lots of Mormon uh, Mormons. So they are kind. Salt Lake City is known as Mormon City. So anyway, yeah, some of them picked me up, and they took me to the east. So actually, the first time I was able to got the first driver after I after I got off the car, I cried because I thought it was impossible, but that guy, very kind, he gave me some money as well. So I just cried. Maybe he thought I was just homeless. Like my outfits were awful, just half pants and a short t-shirt, and it's a little bit dirty. It was really dirty. So anyway, he was very kind. So that's why I cried after I I got off the car. Anyway, so from the middle of Wyoming, of course, I used Greyhound from there to Chicago. And yeah. Anyway, yeah. Let's correct my English. 23 minutes have passed. Very nice, very nice. Placement agent. Alternative funds, yeah, let's correct my English from the beginning. Before I made running a habit, I used to walk to a nearby park to do pull-ups. I used to walk to a nearby park to do pull-ups. At that time, I could do more than 10 pull-ups. Otherwise, I did 2 sets. Each time I could do more than 10 reps, but last Sunday I went there to do pull-ups and I could only do 7 reps in the first set at 5 in the second. I was a bit sad because I felt like my muscles had gotten weaker. Each time I could do more than 10 reps. But last Sunday I went there to do pull-ups and I could only do 7 reps in the first set, and 5 in the second. I could only do 7 reps in the first set, and 5 in the second. I was a bit sad because I felt like my muscle had gotten weaker. I felt like my muscles getting weaker. My muscles were getting weaker. This time I could barely do 7. So yeah, so I went there to do pull-ups, but it had been a long time since I'd done them. I had done them. It had been a long time since I'd done them. I'd done them. It had been a long time since, yeah. The first set was only 7 reps and the second was just 5. I've been slacking off on pull-ups recently. Because I've gotten into running. I've gotten into running. I should probably do them more often. I should probably do them more often. He was far more hardcore than I was. Yesterday, after I talked about pull-ups, I think also talked about hitchhiking. I once hitchhiked in the US. I had the experience of hitchhiking. I had the experience of hitchhiking in the US because I was inspired by a famous Japanese YouTuber. He hitchhiked across the US from west to east. Hitchhiked across the US. He only used hitchhiking to get around. He was far more hardcore than I was because I only hitchhiked for short distances, like within one state. I only hitchhiked for short distances. He was only within one state, from Salt Lake City in Utah to the middle of Wyoming. That's as far as I can remember right now. That's as far as I can remember. He was far more hardcore than I was. It was exciting but also a bit scary because I had to stand there holding signs that said east or something like that, like the city name. Yeah, I wrote a city name too. Sometimes, like Little America, or or something like that, and wait for a kind driver to stop. Everyone who picked me up was kind, but it could have been dangerous if a crazy driver had stopped for me. It was exciting but a bit scary because I had to stand there holding a sign that said east or something like that. Wait for a kind of person to stop. Everyone who picked me up was kind, but it could have been dangerous if a crazy driver had stopped for me. Actually, uh, one of them, he was a guy. He stopped for me, but the car was really dirty. Like there were lots of things. They were packed in the car, even around my feet on the なんて言うんだ side chair. I forgot. Anyway, if the driver who picked me up had been dangerous, I could have been killed. But he was just. He asked me like, do you have money? And then I was just honest. So and honestly, I didn't have much money, so I just said as it was. And then that guy made me scary because he said, you shouldn't have answered like that question. If I am a stranger, I would kill you, something like that. Actually, I don't remember because at that time I couldn't speak English fluently and I couldn't understand what they said. But I just remember it was scary, that person. Anyway. So when I think about it now, I think it was a bit reckless. When I think about it now, I think it was a bit reckless. But I don't regret because it was a really precious experience. I think it was a bit reckless. I first tried hitchhiking in California, actually in LA, but no one stopped for me. I don't regret it because it was a really precious experience. I first tried hitchhiking in California, actually in LA, but no one stopped for me, not a single car. So I gave up at that time and started traveling by Greyhound with the San Francisco Portran and then Seattle. When I arrived in Seattle, I ran out of money, so I had to find a job. I looked for a place where I could work and found a sushi restaurant on an online bulletin board. It was a Japanese restaurant on an online bulletin board. Oh, it's been 34 minutes already. Yeah, I have more sentences to correct. So maybe tomorrow from here. From here. Anyway. had to stand there holding a sign. Yeah, if the driver who picked me up had been dangerous, he could have been killed. If she likes me, yeah, I'll ask her out. You don't know the fact. That's why you can use if she likes me, I'll ask her out. If you're talking about a specific moment in the past, and you know she didn't like you at that time, then you can say if she had liked me. And this one, you know she doesn't like you. Then you can say if she likes me, if she liked me, I would ask her out. So now at the if you were talking about the specific moment in the past, if you want to talking about the specific moment in the past, you can use this. At the time, if she if you know she didn't like you at the certain moment in the past, then you can say if she had liked me, I would have asked her out. Yeah, anyway, let's do tomorrow. Thank you so much. Bye bye.